Did you know random acts of kindness can help you manifest the life of your dreams? They definitely can, and I'm going to share with you three big benefits of random acts of kindness, just little acts of kindness in your life that can change the whole game for you. I have been on a journey for personal growth over the last year or so in my life, and I've changed so much. I mean, so much of the direction, the scope, inwardly and outwardly, the results I was getting in my life has absolutely transformed. And that's what I do on this channel, is help you to learn how to do the same. So if you haven't subscribed, and I can help you, subscribe below so you can keep up with the content. It helps me grow, it helps you grow, and we're all in this together, right? Like this video if you get a chance, but let's jump right into it. And let me tell you three big benefits that a random act of kindness can have in your life. First of all, a quick story. I shared a video not long ago on here, just one of my shorts, and it was all about this little tiny encounter I had with an older gentleman in Walmart. And let me tell you what, that thing blew up and went for one of my videos. It went really well and attracted more views than any short I've had so far, I think. And the reason it is because we all connect to kindness. Here's what happened. I was in the store and my wife and I were looking at cases of water, and she had walked around the corner looking at something else. And I just got our water out and put it in our cart. And there was an older man standing there looking at the water as well. And he had a cane with him and he had his cart there. And I started talking with him and we were joking around a little bit. And I said, "Are you getting water?" And he said, "Yeah." And I said, "Tell me which one you want. Can I put it in your cart for you?" And he said, "Thank you." And he showed me the one and I put it in his cart. I didn't solve world hunger. I didn't do any kind of big thing, but I had a great connection with this guy. And he said, "Oh, how much do I owe you?" And I said, "Oh, about $100 will do it." And he said, "I didn't bring my checkbook." And we joked around a little bit. And when I walked away, I was just flooded with happiness. I was flooded with joy. And so many people liked and commented on that video because I think they felt the same thing. Because we can all do these little things, these random acts of kindness that are so small and so seemingly insignificant, but they help you to manifest the life you want. Do you know why? Because they put you in a state of non-resistance. And non-resistance, if you've watched any of the content I share here, is what it's all about. That's what I've learned in the last couple of months in my life. All these mantras I did, and I still do some of those, don't get me wrong, and affirmations and all. It's all great stuff. But the real key to manifesting your dream life is simple. Set your intention on what you want and then don't resist it. Just let go and let God. And man, I've been learning that. And when we do a random act of kindness, it puts us in a full state of letting go because we're living at our highest purpose we can live at, and that's love, a state of loving ourselves and loving one another. And these three benefits, these big benefits, are going to happen in your life when you do that. Let me tell you what they are. Number one, you are going to have a very physical benefit when you learn to do random acts of kindness. Things are going to get physical, like they said back in the day in the 80s, if you know that song. You're going to have physical responses in your body because when we practice kindness, our body does this weird thing because it's syncing up and it's getting in tune with what it's designed to be and to do, and that's to love and to share and to join together. So it puts out things like endorphins. It puts out things like serotonin. It puts out all of these chemicals in your body that give you a state of non-resistance, a state of bliss, which is the key, once again, to manifesting the life of your dreams. If you can learn to live in that state, live as if you are already happy with the life you have and you have the life you want, and that's what I've been learning a lot of lately, that life becomes a given in your subconscious, and all this random coincidence and all these connections and synchronicities come into your life, and you just build more and more and more of that life. One of the biggest keys is kindness because it does all these physical things in our body. Our body gets pumped full of all these different hormones, and as it does that, it just runs happiness and joy through our entire system. It has real physical benefits. Now, the second thing it does is those physical benefits, those chemicals that are coursing through your body, has an effect next on your emotional state of being. Emotionally, it impacts you as a person when you're kind to another person. It doesn't have to be big. It literally took me a 30-second conversation and a 10-second act of moving this guy's water off the shelf into his cart. And I walked away with this joy. And I could tell he walked away with this joy. And I could literally just feel our energies sync up. And really, that's what the human experience is all about. Because what an emotion is a physiological response of chemicals in your body to outward stimuli. When something comes in good or bad in our environment, or even in a thought in our brain based on our familiar past, whether it's a good experience or a bad experience, chemicals begin to move around and get released, and either cortisol for stress and negative, or all these other good hormones that get released that give you joy and peace and all. But it causes an emotional response. And what does an emotional response do? What does our emotions impact in our life? Our feelings. Our feelings are a little different than our emotions. Your feelings are how you interpret your emotions. It's kind of the name you put on that thing that you can't define in your heart. And like, for example, I walked away with a shot of endorphins, a shot of chemical goodness in my soul. But what I felt was joy. I felt purpose. I felt like, man, I am right in the zone of who I'm made to be. I've shared with y'all before, it's so good to get in tune with who you really are. And it took me a while to really nail this down fully. For me, I really believe I'm on this planet to help you and others, people in my circle, people outside my circle, find peace, find purpose, and find prosperity in their life. That's what I want to help people to do. That's what gives me the good juice in my life when I do it. And I felt all of that. I'm plugged into my purpose. I felt joy. I felt goodness when I walked away. And I immediately made a video in Walmart. And I shared it. Why? Because I had changed the world? No, because I had changed that man's moment and maybe his day, and he had changed mine. And when we start doing that, it affects us physically. It gets down in our system, and it affects us emotionally. We are emotional creatures. And when your heart and your mind get in sync, when the physical brain matter that's putting out waves into your body gets in sync with the waves coming back from your heart, you're in heart, mind, or heart, brain, whatever you want to call it, coherence, and you are in a state of bliss. That is a state of non-resistance. That's a state of surrender. That's a state of being connected to the consciousness of everybody and to the consciousness of God. And when we're in that state, guess what we're in? We're in a state of bliss. But I said there's 3 big benefits from a little random act of kindness, as small as picking up water and putting it in a cart for somebody in a Walmart. Something that small can do this. It's physical, it's emotional, but maybe one of the biggest things that we overlook, it's this. It's relational. It's relational. When we get flooded with all these hormones, when we get flooded with all these endorphins, all these things in our body that charge us up, and they feed into our emotions, and they give us this feeling of absolute bliss, this absolute happy in our life, and our heart just gets flooded, that flows out of us as energy, and it becomes relational. I could tell when that man walked away, our encounter had the same impact on him as it had on me. I just got that vibe, and I'm not a young guy, I'm an old guy, but this guy was much older than me. And I just got that vibe. Here's a young man that cares about me. Here's a young man that's not looking or overlooking the elderly in society. You know, when you get that vibe off of somebody, I got that, and I believe I gave that to him. He got it from me, and he gave it back to me, and I got it from him. Here's a man who has appreciation. We just had this state of energy synced up in this Walmart over this one little stupid encounter, and it affected him and I physically, emotionally, and relationally. It connected us together. There's nothing that's going to give you more purpose, I believe, in your life than feeling like you're a part of something bigger, that you're doing something bigger than yourself. You listen to interviews with guys who work in this environment, in this kind of personal growth coaching environment, with millionaires and billionaires. And do you know what they all have in common? Unless they've plugged into this kind of source material in their life, they're miserable. Billionaires and millionaires are often the most miserable people on the planet. Why? Because they put their ladder up against a building and they climb that ladder of success only to get to the top and find that ladder was leaning against the wrong building all along. It's great to have money. Like I said, it's great to be free. Money gives us freedom. I believe I'm on this planet to help people like you and help people like me find peace and purpose and prosperity in our life. Money's a good thing. You can do a lot of good in your life and others' lives with it. But if it's the sole building you're climbing, it's going to leave you empty. If you just want what's in it for me, you're going to get to the top of that building and you will get there. If you believe that's where you're meant to be and you set it as your intention and you release that to the universe, to God, your source, you'll get there. You'll get everything you want because that's the way this stuff works. It's the laws of physics working together in your life. But when you get there, you will have an empty feeling if you've missed this third component. And we're here to be relational. We're here to help each other, to bless each other, to benefit each other. And when we do that, random acts of kindness, those little actions that touch others, it can be so small and it can have such a huge impact. It connects you with who you're meant to be. And you're just flooded at this point with more of those endorphins, more of those good feelings. And guess what it does? It just keeps cycling and cycling and cycling. The more you do it, the more it flows, the more you give yourself over to saying, I'm going to be a kind person, the more you can change this entire planet. Here's a little quick test for you. When you look at your life over the last week, how many random acts of kindness can you name? And it doesn't have to be big. The other day, I was in my local Chinese restaurant. It's like a little takeout place. And the guy there, I've gotten to know him. I go so much. As you can tell, I like Chinese food and other fast food and those kind of restaurants around our town. But I go there so much, he really knows me. And I always try to leave him a nice tip because he's a super nice guy. And he's got to where when I go in, sometimes he will not give me my receipt because I never carry cash with me. And he won't give me my receipt to leave my tip. And he'll just say, no, you left a good tip last time. You're not going to leave a tip this time. And he's got this little game he plays with me now where he won't always let me leave a tip. And I don't understand that. And a guy this is his business. He's thriving and surviving by what money he makes, but he won't take it. You know why? Because he's kind and because I'm kind to him. And we have this synergy of kindness going. How many of those little things are you doing in your life? I promise you, the more of them you do, how many did you do this week? Look back, tell me in the comments, yes, I am, or I need more, or whatever. Let me know, where are you at when it comes to random acts of kindness? If you're not doing that, I promise you're missing out physically, you're missing out emotionally, and you're missing out relationally. You're missing out on the purpose you were generated for on this earth. Practice some random acts of kindness this week and see how greatly it benefits you. It'll change the game for you.